Hello, I'm Dr. Jeanette Raymond, psychologist, psychotherapist, relationship expert, and stress expert, here to talk to you today about the pain, the chronic pain that you feel in your body that never goes away, that's relentless no matter what you do or how you try to manage it. Mainly because you are holding in stress and hurt from relationship issues that pain you to the core. So let's talk about Matthew. And I'm going to share with you his experience of absolutely chronic right hip pain that radiated down his leg. And initially he thought it was sciatica, and he was treated with gabapentin and Neurontin and massage, physical therapy. And believe it or not, he actually also had some psychotherapy. But he had a particular kind of psychotherapy called CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. And you know what? It didn't work. It's supposed to work, but it didn't. And the reason is because it's all cognitive. It's to do with your thoughts. Matthew was an intelligent person. He knew that there was no organic cause for his pain. He'd had every MRI, CT scan, X-ray, everything you can imagine, every test you can think of. And there was physically no defect, no problem, nothing had changed in his hip area that would have accounted for such chronic and relentless pain. So of course, when he had cognitive therapy, it didn't really address his feelings that he was holding in and his lack of sense of control. That if he took pills, it didn't work. If he drank alcohol, it numbed it a little bit, but came back with a ferocious force again. That if he went to sleep, it woke him up with this terrible throbbing pain that made him just want to die. He would be trying to get up and he'd be limping around, and the pain would shoot up his leg, and he couldn't even stand or sit down. There was no way he could be comfortable. He tried eating food to numb the pain, to try and comfort himself like you would if you were in pain. But nothing actually took the pain away. And he was getting sadder and sadder and more helpless and powerless, because he was really getting in touch with his lack of control over his own body. And that was very distressing to him. So eventually he came to see me. And what we discovered was that Matthew gave a lot to other people. He was always there for them. He was there to help them in times of need, listen to their problems, be available if they needed a helping hand. He was always making himself available, and he enjoyed it. But he never felt the same from other people. He didn't feel that they were there for him, and that even if they would do it in the same way. He didn't feel it was genuine, that it was unconditional, and it was done with love. Whatever he got from other people felt like it was done out of duty or critical judgment, or because, there was some kind of obligation they had to fulfill, and that he would not enjoy it. So then it just led to him not wanting to allow people near him. Until he came to me, and we actually worked on helping him connect to the feelings, the longing for someone he could rely on, someone who was consistent and sustaining him only when he needed it, that he didn't have to feel dependent or anxious about being needy, that it was there for him. And that, of course, was me, the therapist, available when he wants, to be there, to be supportive and nurturing and understanding and caring, and then stepping back when he's had his fill, and he found it initially very uplifting, but also dangerous. Like, what if I keep needing this? And it took a long time for him to allow himself to be nurtured in this way that met his rhythm, his bodily needs. But he did discover one thing. When he allowed himself to be nurtured by me in therapy or outside session, by remembering what we talked about, or just evoking my presence in his mind in that nurturing way, he discovered that the pain was gone and he wasn't feeling it anymore. But the minute he threw me away and forgot about me, and the pain came roaring back, and he'd have to find some kind of substance to numb it, like food or alcohol or some kind of pain relief medication. So that's Matthew's story, and it really does work because we have found out, research has proven that when you're little and you have a lot of negative feelings, you're cold, you're hungry, you want to feel cuddled, you want to feel safe in someone's arms, and they've got you. Security, that's the most important thing. If you haven't had that, or it's been disrupted, or it's been inconsistent, your body actually feels the pain because you're tensing up your muscles, you're trying to keep yourself warm, you're trying to find some kind of safety in what's around you, and it's very disruptive, it's very alarming, you feel so alone, and people become difficult to trust because you don't know if they're going to give you what you need in a good way, or they're going to give it to you in a resentful way, or they're going to give it to you in a way that makes you feel disgusted with yourself because you shouldn't be needing this, and they're going to criticize you and make fun of you and mock you. So what you do is you take all that pain because you can't speak, you're too young, and you put it inside your body by comforting yourself in physical ways. And after a while it doesn't work anymore because it's an emotional kind of constipation. You keep it in, and then if one day it cannot stay in anymore, you start feeling nausea, you'll feel pain, it'll be intermittent, it'll move around from one area of the body to another, and there won't be any organic cause. There'll be nothing that is found in the medical avenues that account for that pain, and none of their treatments will work other than in a placebo effect because you think you're doing something, but you'll know soon enough that it's not going to work. So when you allow yourself to express that rage, that helplessness, that sense of lack of safety, that grief, the loss of a caregiver that you could rely on, was consistent and gave you a sense of stability and security. When you can do that with a good, loving, experienced therapist, those feelings become metabolized, they're processed, they're digested. You're no longer constipated because they're moving out of your body, out of your system as waste matter. You don't need them anymore because now you're getting what you really need, which is nutritious care, security, stability, reliability, all those things that you need in order to be able to trust people again. But you need that foundation first. And the pain was kind of taking its place inside your emotional digestive system. So you were full up and there wasn't any room. But as you express your grief, your pain, of what you didn't get as a child, the times you were helpless and terrified and scared and alone and having to do it all yourself and shoving your feelings down just in order to survive, as you express all that, you make room for the nurturing and the care and the stability and the security and the reliability and the safety, above all the safety. And that's going to help you feel more in touch with yourself and grounded and centered. And the pain kind of disappears. And what Matthew found is when he let himself go and he stopped trying to control everything and anticipate the pain because he was back in that place of feeling insecure and unsafe with other people, then he actually had room for enjoyment. He enjoyed playing his favorite, watching his favorite games on TV. He enjoyed playing with his children. He enjoyed going on hikes with his wife. He enjoyed traveling. He enjoyed writing again. He enjoyed playing the guitar again. He enjoyed writing poems again. He enjoyed creating projects with his kids. And everything changed for him because he had that security with the therapist that made him feel nurtured and safe. And then off he went. So now I'm going to tell you the story of Sarah, who also had aches and pains all over her body at different times. Sometimes it would be in her finger. She would bite her finger and it would get sore and infected, and then she'd come and tell me she had a pain and she didn't know what to do about it. Then other times there would be a pain in her ankle for no reason. She hadn't sprained it, she hadn't done anything. She kind of woke up with it. It was all swollen and sore, and she couldn't walk, she couldn't move properly, she couldn't do her dance classes, she couldn't go to work. And other times she would have terrible stomach cramps, and they would just come for no reason that she could think of. She hadn't eaten anything that was bad. She kept trying to think it was because of her periods, but she realized after working with me that they came when it was not time for her periods, that they were kind of unpredictable. But what we did discover, that when she actually took notice of these pains and she spoke to me about them, she was releasing the feelings of not wanting to go to work, so that her ankle would be swollen and she couldn't move. That she didn't really want to do the housework. She didn't want to cook. She didn't want to do the laundry. She didn't want to clean. And so infecting her finger by biting on it would achieve that purpose. But of course it's shameful for her to think that way. So she did it through her body. And that way she could get my love and attention and care, and most of all permission to do what she wanted rather than to do what she was expected to do in her mind, which is go to work and do all the house chores and so on. And her childhood was also like Matthew's, when her parents, particularly her mother, never knew and never cared for her when she was scared or lonely, or she thought there was a monster in the cupboard like many kids do and just needed someone to just sit by her bedside and hold her hand. She never had all that. She was just so, don't just grow up and it'll go away and don't bother me with it. That's how it was felt. So no matter what happened, whether she was scared or she hurt herself or she was lonely or she was hungry, she never got attuned to, she never got responded to in a way that satisfied her, that calmed her down. But if she actually got sick, then her mother would pay attention to her. So she got used to putting everything in the body and getting attention when she was sick or she had some kind of infection or something wrong with her body that was visible. And so she was doing the same thing with me until I helped her to see that I was available at any time. She could call me, she could email me, she could be in touch with me at any time in between sessions, and I would respond. That she didn't have to hold in her feelings of anxiety, of loneliness, of needing someone to just listen or just be there, or a companion, whatever it was, who was attuned to her, that she didn't have to make herself sick in order to do it. And as we continued to work together, she began to anticipate a pain and knew that, and she was able to make the connection that she cut herself off from me and that she was trying to get back to me by using pain instead of saying, I just needed to email you over the weekend, I just felt lonely or whatever, I just wanted to say hi, something like that. And gradually over time, and it took quite a while because it's hard for her to give up this way of getting care and attention, she did start to keep in touch over the session or in between sessions, and it made an enormous difference. Not only was she connected to me, but she felt it in a good way. It was when she wanted, at the time she wanted, how she wanted. It was totally under her control, and it was exactly the amount that she wanted. She could have it or not. She could ask for it and take the response and have it there in front of her to see as many times as she liked. It was something she could hold on to. And doing that made her feel better in her body. She didn't have to hold everything in until the next session and then give it to me through the pain and take away some nurturing and then not be able to have enough or hold on to it in between sessions. So one of the ways in which unexpressed feelings hurt you is that they get stored in the body as pain, as chronic pain, as inflammation, as relentless pain, because you don't feel safe, you don't feel cared for, you don't feel that you can trust people to care about you in a way that makes you feel comfortable or safe. And in a really good, connected, emotionally nurturing therapy, in a psychodynamically oriented therapy that cares for you, that swaddles you when you need it, lets you run away when you don't, that's when the pain disappears and you're free, and you learn to start trusting other people to give you what you need without you having to either give them and feel depleted like Matthew, or just to get regular connection with your loved ones by being in pain. So I hope this is of help to you, and I offer this therapy for anyone living in Los Angeles, and coaching services for stress, pain, and anger issues in the body for anyone globally. I'll be happy to coach you. So check out my website and give me a call and let me know how this video hit you. Okay, see you soon.